Welcome to Court of Protection Briefs. This video is about communicating a decision as part of assessing mental capacity. First of all, a recap. An assessment of capacity must relate to someone over 16. No assumptions made based on age, appearance or behaviour. There must be an impairment or disturbance in the functioning of the mind or brain. To have capacity in relation to a decision, P needs to be able to understand the relevant information, to retain it, use or weigh that information, and the subject of this video, to be able to communicate their decision. It's not enough to come to a decision if you can't let someone know what that decision is. The modern world has created increasingly sophisticated tools developed by brilliant and dedicated people to unlock the free will of those who would previously have been ignored or constrained. Perhaps a perfect example of this limb of the test is Stephen Hawking, one of the most brilliant people on the planet, with an intellect of stratospheric sophistication, but that intellect was hidden by motor neurone disease, which he developed in his early 20s, and which eventually robbed him of the ability to speak or signal.
Technology has transformed the outlook for the disabled. People like me can now move around independently, and they can communicate. The fact that you are listening to me now shows what technology can do, even if it does give me a Scandinavian or American accent.
To suggest Stephen Hawking lacked mental capacity would be ludicrous, but without the computer and voice box that spoke his thoughts, which he communicated through, that capacity would have been entirely hidden, and the courts would have to have deemed him to lack capacity, requiring other, lesser intellects to do the thinking and deciding for him. The Mental Capacity Act sets out the test as the need to communicate his decision, whether by talking, using sign language, or any other means. This allows for developing technology to further liberate the voice of people who might otherwise be voiceless. It's now common for technology to refine garbled speech or allow eye movements to select letters, words, pictures, which can then be processed into speech or text. I recently heard a report on a technology that uses Morse code via an app to do the same. It's a well-tested technology. It can be pretty fast. It requires minimal computer and data processing, and it's simple tech, allowing easy and low-cost diffusion in the developing world. And some movement in one finger is all it needs. A recent Court of Protection judgment that many thought had a conclusion so obvious it was shocking it needed saying was a capacity assessment of a 20-year-old person who is deaf. The judge made it clear that where someone uses sign language as their primary means of communication, the assessment should be conducted using sign language. And if it wasn't, why not? And what steps have been taken to overcome how that might affect the assessment. The judge also ruled that the assessment should be undertaken by someone with a cultural understanding of the deaf experience. That's the role of being able to communicate a decision has in mental capacity assessments. Subscribe or watch out for the next video from Court of Protection Briefs.